listening to LOA Recon with the Good Vibe Coach Jeanette Ma, where we dissect the ins and outs and the art and science of conscious creation, all intended to amp up your manifesting game. Let's have some fun together. I coach a fair number of fellow manifestors who sometimes share that their biggest challenge in their manifesting work is how to answer questions from muggles about their progress. It could be such a dreaded question for conscious creators to hear someone ask, "So, how's it going?" when we don't have something fabulous to report. Whether it's building a business or maybe just starting out dating or a weight loss routine or a new health regimen or making a financial investment or writing a book, there can be a variety of scenarios where people, I'm talking about muggles, who might not know better than to ask this question. They're interested in what we're doing. They want to know. They want to offer support and engage us in what they know matters to us. We can't fault them for being curious. Some people aren't asking the question out of love, but many of them are. They just don't know any better. Because when we know that the challenges in answering a question like this, before we have something fabulous to share, is that this can be a really vulnerable time for us personally, and that focusing on how things are isn't necessarily the best way to get them going where we want them to be. We know that taking score isn't super helpful until we're taking score at a time when we know we're going to like the score. We also know that being real or focusing on reality doesn't help us create a different one. So the question, how's it going? There can be a variety of things we can do with it. I've got 5 tips for how to answer the dreaded question for conscious creators. This is worth keeping in mind too when you're conversing with a conscious creator who's up to something. So I'm going to go through these as if we're receiving this question, but keep this in mind as you're in conversation with fellow creators as well. So one of my favorite ways to handle the question, how's it going, when how's it going isn't very good, is to answer a different question. I'll just start off saying something like, what I'm enjoying about it is, or what I'm looking forward to is, or a recent win I'm celebrating is, or reasons that I think things are going my way include. You can answer a different question rather than the one that they asked. Most people are polite enough not to point out that you fudged it a little bit, but you can stick to your story there. There's another way to handle it too, and that's just to deflect the question altogether. Like, just don't even answer. You could just say, "Great, how's it going with you?" and ask about their divorce or how their kids are doing or whatever. Just change the subject. And if you need to, you can explain why, if it seems really awkward that you are avoiding their question. For some people that works. In fact, that's my 3rd tip. It's to train the people in your life how to be more supportive, how to express their interest in your project or your life. You can do that a couple of ways. You can ask them not to bring it up unless you bring it up. You can say, "Look, this subject is only for conversation when I initiate." Sometimes that's an important way to train our parents. Or you could also explain that talking about what isn't very helpful, and that you're just going to keep it to yourself in the meantime. And that they'll hear the good news when you're ready to share it. Or you can give them questions that do work, like questions that I just shared a minute ago. You can offer approved ways for them to ask about your progress that set you up for success in answering. You know what else you can do? You can ask if they're rooting for you. Are you just curious, or are you helping me with this? Some people, if you let them know that you believe that their ability to see you as happy and thriving and successful helps you become happy and thriving and successful, and ask them to do that for you and leave it at that. That's another way to handle it. Hey, here's another way, number 4 for how to handle the question. I like this one a lot. Script it. That is, say it how you want it rather than it is. You can't do that in every occasion. Like if you're testifying in a Senate hearing, maybe this isn't the time to go for it. But if it's an occasion where you can tell it how you'd rather that it is, how that you'd rather it be, I say go for it. Like, trying to think of a time when I've done that. I remember when I was building my coaching practice, it was a hard thing for me to talk about. I was in a lot of fear, a lot of doubt. There was some anxious energy for sure. And I was so laying low about it. I hardly told anyone what I was doing because I knew those questions, it was such a fragile flame that I was feeding that if anyone blew on it hard enough, I would be in trouble. So I didn't tell too many people what was going on. I think even my parents were kind of like, what's she doing? She quit her job? She's doing what? I don't know for sure, because guess what? I didn't talk to him about it. But there was an occasion. I was buying makeup at the department store one day, and the girl behind the counter asked what I did. And man, there was a lot of stuttering involved. But I talked about how I was a coach, and this is what I did. And I made it sound like it was already happening, like I was already doing it. And the truth was, I wasn't even sure the thing was going to work. But she wasn't like a person that seemed I needed to be realistic with, and it was a chance for me to find the words of success. Sometimes you'll be in that situation. It's a great time to script it. But the 5th tip I have for how to handle the question, how's it going, is this. It's to answer with the half-full version, right? We're conscious creators. We're skilled at seeing what's going right. We know how to appreciate progress even when it seems really small. So you can always answer in terms of like, I'm getting good clarity about what doesn't work, or I'm learning how to do things that I've never done before, or I'm coming up with a heck of a rags to riches story. You can find a way to speak to what is going right. And that's frankly good exercise for us to train our attention in the direction of what is working for us. Sometimes that question can be helpful if we use it as an opportunity to look for what's right, what's to be celebrated. And if you can't see anything positive in the red hot moment, you could just say none of your business. If you've got other tips for how to answer this question, post them at the blog. Thanks for listening, and happy manifesting. Bye, everyone.